not talking. I'm not talking
quicker
about
than
them. I'm talking
no,
about
no.
you.
But I'm
I'm
just
talking about you.
saying what's happened is we've it's desecrating our industries.
Piers Morgan didn't expect Andrea Jenkyns' reply to Ed Davey's question. "You're not going to believe this one." Live on air, in front of the cameras, Piers Morgan asked a question he thought would put Andrea Jenkyns on the defensive. But instead, she flipped the script. She turned it around in a way that not only caught Piers by surprise, but left viewers stunned and Ed Davey suddenly in the spotlight. This wasn't just another exchange in Britain's endless political theater. No. This was one of those moments that exposes the cracks, shows you who's really in control, and who's scrambling to hold the narrative together. So here's what happened. It all began with Ed Davey, the Liberal Democrat leader, pressing a tough question about accountability. He wanted answers on whether promises made before the vote, promises about the economy, about public services, about trust, were being honored. The kind of question designed to make politicians stumble. Piers Morgan, never shy to amplify the heat, directed that same pressure straight at Andrea Jenkyns. He expected her to dodge, to fumble, maybe to lash out. Instead, she leaned in. With calm but sharp words, she dismantled the premise of the question. She argued that the so-called promises were being taken out of context, that the opposition was cherry-picking failures while ignoring progress. And then, in a twist that nobody, not even Piers, saw coming, she turned the question back on Ed Davey himself. Her exact words sparked a storm. "Before you demand answers from us, maybe explain why your party still hasn't been honest about its own record. People haven't forgotten." Boom. That was the moment. You could see it on Piers Morgan's face, that flicker of surprise, almost disbelief. The studio went quiet for a beat, and social media lit up within minutes. Twitter erupted. One viewer wrote, "This is why Andrea Jenkyns always comes prepared. She doesn't just play defense, she goes on the attack." Another added, "Piers Morgan looked like he didn't know what to say next." Even journalists weighed in. A political columnist tweeted, "That exchange will be replayed for days." Jenkyns landed a blow not on Morgan but directly on Ed Davey. And here's the bigger picture. Why does this matter? Because moments like this shift perception. They remind people that debates aren't just about policy. They're about dominance, about who controls the narrative in the heat of the moment. For Ed Davey, this was supposed to be his chance to corner the opposition, to show strength ahead of the next political cycle. Instead, Andrea Jenkyns used his own question to expose vulnerabilities, and Piers Morgan, normally the one catching people off guard, ended up looking like the bystander in a fight he accidentally started. Insiders are already whispering about the fallout. One MP reportedly said, "That kind of moment sticks. It won't change the election tomorrow, but it changes how people see you." Another admitted, "The Lib Dems need to tread carefully. Ed Davey can't afford more slip-ups like this on live TV." And the public? Divided, of course. Supporters of Jenkyns are celebrating the moment as proof she's a fighter. Critics are saying it was deflection, nothing more than political theater. But here's the thing. In politics, perception is reality. So, what happens next? Will Ed Davey and his team double down, try to reframe the exchange as a win for accountability? Or will this linger as yet another example of how carefully crafted questions can backfire spectacularly? Either way, one thing is certain. Andrea Jenkyns didn't just answer the question, she owned it. And Piers Morgan, for once, was left reacting instead of leading. And that raises the real question. If this is how things play out now, just imagine what's coming when the stakes get even higher. Let us know what you think in the comments. And hit subscribe, because as this story unfolds, one thing's for sure. This isn't the end of the accountability crisis. It might just be the beginning. Don't forget to like this video and stay undated for more political updates, because this is just the beginning.